So my name is Frazier. I'm Manager of Community Impact at United Way. And so the purpose of the Wellbeing Report is in essence to be a single source for our community of vital data about our community. The idea is that it becomes a tool for media, government, not-for-profits to in essence be able to go to a single source and access key vital data that they can then use in whatever endeavors that they have going forward. The report's broken up by section, and so each sort of section has its own set of key takeaways. You know, the big thing is that this report is sort of reporting on the recession. In essence, we're now sort of emerging from the recession, but much of the data is coming out of that teeth of the recession, and so we can actually see how bad things got and how we're starting to recover, and from there we can plan going forward, you know, where organizations may want to invest in key programs or supports for our community, or you know, that sort of thing. It really depends on which numbers you're talking about. So for example, in our safety section, our crime statistics are actually quite good. We compare well. You know, Windsor, Essex is one of the safest regions in the country, despite our proximity to Detroit and the perception that because we're near Detroit, we're not safe. You know, and even the crime that does occur, there's been a consistent downward trend in both crime against property and people in our region, as reported by the city police. You know, and other indicators like unemployment, you know, we know that it's still nationally, we're still ranked as one of the highest unemployment regions in the country, and you know, we're still struggling with that, and that's sort of a long-term process that dates back to the recession and that long, slow recovery that's been sort of coming from that. The data does point to, you know, we have made progress from the lows of the recession, and there are, not to say that there isn't hard work going forward. We do have a number of challenges, particularly demographic, you know, the aging population, youth leaving the region, you know, new arrivals to our region, having to sort of fill that void, and how do we connect with those people? How do we, you know, engage people in our community and the issues in our community? You know, so there are, you know, there's certainly hard work going forward, but there are, you know, certainly bright signs that can be pointed to.
What are sort of some of the issues that these numbers are withdrawing that we really need to be aware of?
So in our community, for example, the number of people living under low income rose from 2006 at approximately 9.3% to over 13.3%, and so that's using the low income cutoff, which is a threshold that the government assigns depending on the number of people in your household, and so, you know, that calculates out to about 46,000 people in our region living under that low income cutoff, just by a crude mathematics. And so you know, we do face significant challenges in that those people are generally under that low income cutoff because they're having trouble finding jobs, or they're having trouble, you know, getting employment in our region, and that relates, of course, to, you know, educational attainment, and, you know, for new immigrants and new arrivals, and there's cultural and language barriers that have to be overcome, you know, and, you know, there's some great processes and programs out there to help them, but, you know, there's still stuff that needs to be done, and, you know, particularly given that, you know, young people have been leaving the region, the aging population, immigrants are going to play an increasingly important role in our region in just maintaining, you know, filling jobs and day-to-day life in our community. And, you know, Statistics Canada reports that by 2035, 80% of all population growth will come from immigrants in Canada. And so, you know, if we can't integrate our arrivals now, how are we, you know, what are we setting ourselves up for the future? So to a degree, there's some long-term planning that needs to sort of start happening from the results from this report. You know, plan for the future. How are we going to deal with this aging population? How are we going to, you know, given that youth are leaving the region, and if they don't come back, you know, how are we going to fill that void to ensure that we have the services and the programs that we need to support the people who are here and to integrate and connect with the people who are arriving?